Hello students, welcome back to Edviz Learning. Today we will go on continue with the chapter number 5 of your geometry textbook, that is coordinate geometry. So far in this chapter we have completed practice set 5.1 and practice set 5.2. Practice set 5.1 was based on the distance formula. Distance formula हम लोग क्यों यूज करते हैं? I hope you have by hearted the formula by now and also understood it. ठीक है, वो फॉर्मूला हम लोग यूज करते हैं टू फाइंड आउट द डिस्टेंस बिटवीन एनी टू पॉइंट्स ऑन द कोऑर्डिनेट एक्सिस. हम लोगों को अगर दो पॉइंट्स का कोऑर्डिनेट्स दिया हुआ है, हाउ डू वी फाइंड आउट द डिस्टेंस? वी यूज द डिस्टेंस फॉर्मूला. नाउ आफ्टर दैट वी फिनिश्ड द सेक्शन फॉर्मूला ऑल्सो. सेक्शन फॉर्मूला क्यों यूज होता है? टू फाइंड आउट द कोऑर्डिनेट्स ऑफ द पॉइंट which divides a line segment joining two other points in a particular ratio. ठीक है, सेक्शन फॉर्मूला भी हम लोगों ने लर्न किया था. And based on the section formula, there are two more formulas that we derived. One was the midpoint formula and the centroid formula. तो इन सब formulas के ऊपर based there was practice set 5.2 which we finished in the previous lecture. Now we will start with the next part of this chapter, something called as slope of a line. Okay, now slope का meaning in simple plain English तुम लोगों को already पता है. The inclination of a surface is called a slope, correct? An inclined surface is called a slope. Now, why is it an important concept in geometry, coordinate geometry? It is a very important concept in coordinate geometry because it helps us understand certain properties of a line. Okay? अब वो कैसे हम लोगों को समझ में आता है ये सब चीजें slope से? Let us continue further and see. Okay? If you see in coordinate geometry, अगर हम लोग यहाँ पे प्लॉट करें एक लाइन, suppose this is the y-axis, okay, this is the x-axis, suppose this is the line that we are plotting, okay, and on this line, if I take any two points, point A, x1, y1, point B, x2, y2, ठीक है. तो इन कोऑर्डिनेट ज्योमेट्री हम लोग स्लोप को एक मैथमेटिकल फॉर्मूला से रिप्रेजेंट कर सकते हैं. किसी भी लाइन का स्लोप कितना है अगर किसी ने पूछा तो बस हम लोगों को उस लाइन पे दो पॉइंट्स लेना है, x1, y1 एंड x2, y2, और स्लोप का फॉर्मूला इज स्लोप ऑफ अ लाइन विल बी इक्वल टू y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. That's it. This is the slope of a line. ठीक है, तो किसी भी लाइन का इंक्लिनेशन अगर डिफाइन करने के लिए हम लोगों को कुछ मैथमेटिकल क्वांटिटी लिखना है तो वो ये है. ठीक है, स्लोप इज इक्वल टू y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. It is also given in your textbook if you check on page number 117. Okay, now one unique property of this slope is, अगर मैं इस पूरे लाइन के ऊपर कोई भी दो पॉइंट्स ले लूं, एज यू नो देयर आर इनफाइनाइट पॉइंट्स ऑन दिस लाइन. ओके, कहीं पे भी मैं अगर कोई भी दो पॉइंट्स ले लूं तो स्टिल इफ आई कैलकुलेट द स्लोप फॉर दोस टू पॉइंट्स, मेरा जो आंसर आएगा स्लोप का वो हर जगह पे सेम आएगा फॉर एनी टू पेयर्स ऑफ पॉइंट्स. ठीक है, देयर आर इनफाइनाइट पॉइंट्स, यू कैन सिलेक्ट एनी टू पेयर्स. इसका ही एक एग्जांपल दिया है पेज नंबर 117 पे. देयर इज अ टेबल गिवन. इफ यू सी व्हाट दे हैव डन इज, पेज 116 पे एक लाइन प्लॉट किया हुआ है उन्होंने, करेक्ट, एंड उस लाइन के ऊपर उन्होंने मल्टीपल पेयर्स ऑफ पॉइंट सिलेक्ट किया है, एंड फॉर एवरी पेयर दे हैव कैलकुलेटेड द वैल्यू ऑफ स्लोप यूजिंग दिस फॉर्मूला. एंड इफ यू सी, हर जगह पे जो आंसर है वो सेम आ रहा है, 3/2, 3/2, 3/2, एंड फर्दर ऑल्सो इफ यू सिलेक्ट मोर पॉइंट्स यू विल गेट द सेम आंसर. ओके, तो इससे क्या पता चलता है कि स्लोप ऑफ अ लाइन रिमेन्स कॉन्स्टेंट एनीवेयर ऑन द लाइन. ठीक है, पूरी लाइन के ऊपर हम लोग स्लोप कहीं पे भी कैलकुलेट करें, आंसर हमेशा सेम आएगा. ओके, गोइंग ऑन, स्लोप के ऊपर बेस्ड देयर आर अ फ्यू मोर प्रॉपर्टीज दैट यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड. द फर्स्ट ऑफ दोज प्रॉपर्टीज आर गिवन ऑन पेज 118. अगर मैं कोई भी दो पैरेलल लाइन लूं तो द स्लोप ऑफ दोज टू लाइंस इज गोइंग टू बी ऑलवेज इक्वल. ओके, सपोज दिस इज x axis, this is y axis. If I draw a line on this like this, line L, okay, now line L is inclined this much, correct, it is making an angle theta suppose with the x axis. Okay, but if I take a line parallel to this, अगर मैं इससे exactly parallel एक line बनाऊं line M, okay, it will make the same angle theta with the x-axis, isn't it? अगर वो parallel है तो obviously उसका slope exactly same होगा. अगर कोई surface इस तरह से inclined है और उसी के parallel एक surface इस तरह से inclined है, दोनों same slope पे है, correct? So that is the concept here. If I draw two parallel lines on the coordinate axis और दोनों का slope अगर calculate करके देखोगे तो it is always going to be equal. ठीक है? So if the lines are parallel, their slopes are equal. Okay? So this is one thing that you need to understand. So the next property, the next thing that we are going to study here is how to find out the slope of a line using one of the trigonometric ratios. ठीक है? Let's go to the next page. ओके, बेसिक ट्रिग्नोमेट्रिक रेशियोज हम लोगों ने लास्ट ईयर स्टडी किया है ऑलरेडी 9th स्टैंडर्ड में. साइन, कॉस एंड टैन, यू ऑलरेडी नो अबाउट दैट, राइट? वी आर गोइंग टू यूज वन ऑफ द रेशियोज टू फाइंड आउट द स्लोप ऑफ अ लाइन. ओके, सो सपोज दीज आर द कोऑर्डिनेट एक्सिस y and x. Correct? Now here if I draw a straight line somewhat like this, okay, suppose this makes an angle theta with the x-axis. This is the line L making an angle theta with the x-axis. On this line, as I told you earlier, I am going to assume 2 points. So say this is one point and this is one point. Okay, the point, one of them I'll take x1, y1, the other one I will take x2 and y2. x2 and y2. Okay, so these are the 2 points I'm assuming on this line. I have to use trigonometric ratio, so obviously I'll need a right angle triangle to use that. If this angle is theta and I draw a line parallel to the x-axis, okay, and this is the right angle triangle, this angle is also going to be theta. Okay, if this angle is theta and this point is y1 here and y2 here, correct? This is x1 and this is x2. Now in this right angle triangle, this is point P, this is point Q. I'll assume this point to be R. Okay, what is the length of PR? If you observe this, PR is nothing but x2 minus x1. Correct? And similarly, QR is nothing but y2 minus y1. Okay, now earlier I told you the formula of slope. We already know that for any line, slope is nothing but slope is equal to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Correct? Here, if you observe the diagram, y2 minus y1 is nothing but QR and x2 minus x1 is nothing but PR. Correct? QR upon PR is the slope. But in the 9th standard, you have already studied that if you have an angle theta, correct? What is opposite side divided by the adjacent side? Which ratio is that? So there are just 3 ratios, correct? Sin theta, if you remember correctly, is nothing but opposite side of the angle divided by hypotenuse. Okay. Cos theta is adjacent side divided by hypotenuse. Okay. And tan theta is opposite side divided by adjacent side. So for this angle theta, okay, how is this angle theta? ये दोनों lines parallel है जैसा कि मैंने बोला. If this angle is theta, this is also theta because these are corresponding angles. Correct? So what is tan theta opposite upon adjacent? Here also the slope that we are getting is QR upon PR. QR is the opposite side of theta and PR is the adjacent side of theta. Okay, so in this triangle, slope is nothing but tan theta. Okay, so अगर हम लोगों को सिर्फ एंगल पता है उस लाइन का x एक्सिस के साथ, still we can find out the slope of that line by finding out the tan of that angle. Okay, तो अगर मुझे पॉइंट्स नहीं भी पता है, still we can find the slope of the line just by using the trigonometric ratio tan theta to find the slope. Okay, so this is how you find out the slope using trigonometric ratio. There are two formulas for slope. Remember, one of them is y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. This is when we know 2 points on the line. Okay, and another formula is tan theta. This is when we know the angle that line makes with the x-axis. Okay, so now we'll go to the next part, that is slopes of x-axis, y-axis and lines parallel to these axes. Correct? ये तो हम लोगों ने देख लिया कि बाकी लाइंस का स्लोप कैसे निकालना है, y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1 और tan theta. But what is the slope of x-axis? X-axis का स्लोप कितना है? Okay, let us go to the next page. Now we'll see what is slope of x-axis, y-axis and some lines that are parallel to both x-axis and y-axis. ठीक है? Suppose these are the coordinate axes. Okay, this is x-axis, this is y-axis. Now, as I told you, हम लोग क्या करते हैं slope find out करने के लिए we take 2 points on the line. So यहाँ पे line is nothing but x-axis. One of the points will be x1, comma we know that on x-axis y coordinate हमेशा 0 होता है. So x1, 0 is 1 point. Next point is x2, 0. Okay, these are the 2 points. Now अगर मुझे slope find करना है, the formula is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So यहाँ पे y2 minus y1 is nothing but 0 minus 0. तो नीचे डिनोमिनेटर में कोई भी वैल्यू आ जाए, न्यूमरेटर तो हमेशा 0 ही रहेगा. That means if the line is x-axis, the slope of that line is always equal to 0. ठीक है? For x-axis, slope is always 0. Always 0. Okay. Similarly, अभी हम लोग y-axis के लिए कैलकुलेट करने को ट्राई करते हैं. ठीक है? Suppose this is the point on y-axis. Okay. Now on y-axis, x coordinate is going to be 0. ठीक है? तो ये पॉइंट क्या होगा? 0, y कुछ भी हो सकता है. y1, let us say y1. Next point is still x is 0, so 0, y2. So if the point is on y-axis, denominator में ये जो x2 minus x1 है, ये क्या आ जाएगा? 0 minus 0. Okay? So अगर denominator में 0 है, तो हम लोगों को पता है हम लोग वो कैलकुलेट नहीं कर सकते. It is not defined. तो the slope of y-axis is not defined. Slope of y-axis is not defined. Okay, y-axis का slope is not defined. ये तुम लोग वेरीफाई भी कर सकते हो. ठीक है? ट्रिग्नोमेट्री का जो रेशियो हम लोगों ने स्टडी किया था वो यूज करके. So what is slope by trigonometric ratio? We know it is tan theta. Okay, tan theta is the formula, right? अभी अगर मैं सिर्फ x एक्सिस की बात करूं तो x एक्सिस वाला लाइन x एक्सिस से कितना एंगल पे है? ऑब्वियसली 0 डिग्री, बिकॉज इट इज स्ट्रेट ओनली. करेक्ट? वो लाइन एंगल ही नहीं बना रहा है कुछ. तो tan 0 क्या होता है? वी नो इट फ्रॉम द टेबल, इट इज नथिंग बट 0. सो tan 0 0 होता है, x एक्सिस का स्लोप भी 0 है. सिमिलरली व्हाट इज tan 90? why 90? y एक्सिस वाला लाइन x से कितना एंगल बनाता है? 90 डिग्री. करेक्ट? दिस एंगल इज 90 डिग्री. लास्ट ईयर हम लोगों ने स्टडी किया था. व्हाट इज tan 90? इट इज नॉट डिफाइंड. ओके, tan 90 इज नॉट डिफाइंड. इफ यू रिमेंबर द टेबल करेक्टली यू विल नो दैट tan 90 is not defined. इसीलिए slope of y-axis is not defined. Okay, so this is how we do it. Now let us see what happens if the lines are parallel to x and y-axis. Suppose there is a line parallel to y-axis like this. Correct? This is the line parallel to y-axis. Now if it is parallel to y-axis, इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? ये लाइन y-axis से कभी इंटरसेक्ट ही नहीं करने वाली. Okay, this line is never going to intersect with y-axis. Now if the line is parallel to y-axis, we know that इस लाइन के ऊपर y कोऑर्डिनेट कुछ भी हो, कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता. करेक्ट? y कोऑर्डिनेट देखो जगह जगह पे बदलता रहेगा. सपोज सेम लाइन में अगर पॉइंट है तो दिस विल बी, लेट अस से इसका y कोऑर्डिनेट इज y2. ओके, इसका y कोऑर्डिनेट इज y1. बट सिंस इट इज अ स्ट्रेट लाइन, x एक्सिस का जो वैल्यू है वो हर जगह पे सेम रहेगा. पता है? दिस विल बी x, this will also be x. सेम होगा दोनों का वैल्यू. करेक्ट? सो x coordinate is same everywhere on this line, but y coordinate can be डिफरेंट। ये ऐसा करने पे स्लोप पे क्या फर्क पड़ेगा? स्लोप क्या होता है? सी y2 माइनस y1 अपॉन x2 माइनस x1। तो y2 माइनस y1 तो ठीक है, y का वैल्यू अलग अलग हो सकता है, बट डिनोमिनेटर में यू कैन सी दैट वी आर गेटिंग x माइनस x, करेक्ट? मतलब फिर से डिनोमिनेटर में क्या आ रहा है? जीरो आ रहा है। ओके, इफ द डिनोमिनेटर इज जीरो, हम लोगों ने देखा कि स्लोप इज नॉट डिफाइंड। एंड ऑल्सो बाय ट्रिग्नोमेट्री लॉजिक दिस लाइन मेक्स एन एंगल ऑफ 90 डिग्री विथ एक्स एक्सिस, तो tan 90 हम लोगों ने देखा इट इज नॉट डिफाइंड। तो if the line is parallel to y-axis, the slope of that line is going to be not defined. ठीक है? Similarly, अगर the line is parallel to x-axis, okay? If the line is parallel to x-axis, see if this point is, let us say, x1, this point is x2, correct? इसका जो y coordinate होगा, y coordinate will now remain same. This is x1 comma y, this is x2 comma y. तो इस केस में x कोऑर्डिनेट सेम था, इस केस में y कोऑर्डिनेट विल रिमेन सेम। बट व्हेन y कोऑर्डिनेट इज सेम, मतलब न्यूमरेटर जीरो हो गया, करेक्ट? इफ द न्यूमरेटर इज जीरो, द स्लोप इज ऑल्सो जीरो। सो इफ द लाइन इज पैरेलल टू x एक्सिस और इफ इट इज द x एक्सिस, द स्लोप इज ऑलवेज जीरो। ओके, फॉर x एक्सिस और अ लाइन पैरेलल टू x एक्सिस। Okay, the slope is always zero, and slope of y-axis and a line parallel to y-axis, okay, the slope is not defined. So these are the two scenarios. अगर line is x-axis or parallel to x-axis, slope is always zero. If the line is y-axis or parallel to y-axis, the slope is not defined. So these are some properties of lines based on the slope. Okay, now we will go to the practice set 5.3, which is the last practice set in this chapter. Let us go to the next part, that is practice set 5.3. So all we learned here is slope formula. First, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, and another slope formula, that is if the angle is known, it is equal to tan theta. Based on this, we are going to solve practice set 5.3. Okay, so let us start. Okay, so the question 1 of practice set 5.3, angles made by the line with the positive direction of x axis are given. Find the slopes of this line. तो तीन angles दिया हुआ है, उन angles का slope find करना है. What is given is, suppose these are the axis, तो if this is your line, उसका एंगल दिया हुआ है विथ एक्स एक्सिस, वी हैव टू फाइंड द स्लोप. सो फॉर एंगल्स विथ एक्स एक्सिस वी नो द फॉर्मूला फॉर स्लोप. फर्स्ट वन क्या दिया है? थीटा इक्वल टू 45 डिग्री. ठीक है, डायरेक्ट फॉर्मूला एप्लीकेशन है. स्लोप विल बी इक्वल टू, एज वी स्टडीड ट्रिग्नोमेट्री से कैसे यूज करना है इसको, tan थीटा. सो tan 45 दैट इज इक्वल टू 1. ओके, सो फर्स्ट केस में द स्लोप ऑफ द लाइन इज tan 45 1. सिंपली ऐसे ही हम लोगों को बाकी दोनों भी करना है. सेकेंड वन में थीटा इज गिवन टू यू एज 60 डिग्री. स्लोप विल बी इक्वल टू tan थीटा, करेक्ट? एंड वी नो दैट tan 60 is nothing but √3. For this you should be aware about the table that you studied last year. वो तुम लोगों को अच्छे से याद होना चाहिए. Okay, at least for tan. And also you have a chapter on trigonometry later on, so वो काम ही आएगा. So similarly the third question that is given to you is for theta equal to 90 degree. As we studied earlier, अगर थीटा 90 डिग्री है मतलब वो लोग y एक्सिस या लाइन पैरेलल टू y एक्सिस के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, तो द स्लोप इज गोइंग टू बी नॉट डिफाइंड. ठीक है, स्लोप क्या होता है? tan थीटा. सो tan 90 इज नॉट डिफाइंड. ठीक है, स्लोप कैन नॉट बी डिफाइंड. सो दिस इज व्हाट यू नीड टू राइट डाउन. ठीक है, थर्ड वन. आई विल गिव यू 10 seconds to note this down. Quickly make a note of this, then we'll go to the next question. Okay, moving on to the second question. Find the slopes of the line passing through the given points. This time उन्होंने दो दो पॉइंट्स का पेयर्स दिया हुआ है, हम लोगों को हर केस में स्लोप फाइंड आउट करना है. तो फॉर्मूला हम लोगों को ऑलरेडी पता है, स्लोप ऑफ एनी लाइन जहां पे 2 पॉइंट्स आर गिवन, what is the slope? y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. We just have to use the formula directly. So question number 2, first one, a 2 comma 3 and b 4 comma 7. So if I have to find out the slope is nothing but y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. So y2 here is 7 minus 3 divided by 4 minus 2. Okay, so 4 upon 2, the answer is 2. This is the slope of this line. Similarly, second one, there is a point P given to you, minus 3 comma 1, and Q, point Q is 5 comma minus 2. So the slope by the same formula is equal to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Okay, so minus 2 minus 1 divided by 5 minus 3. Okay, so the answer you will get here is minus 3 divided by 5, minus minus will become plus, 5 plus 3. So the answer is minus 3 upon 8. Now remember, there is one thing that you need to pay attention to. यहाँ पे तुम लोग y2 और y1 किसी भी पॉइंट को ले सकते हो. सपोज इफ यू टेक दिस एज x2 y2, स्टिल इट इज ओके, बट मेक श्योर जिसका x1 लिया है y1 भी उसका ही लेना है. ठीक है, इफ यू टेक दिस एज x2, you have to take this only as y2, still you will get the same answer, because instead here, see here, if I take 3 minus 7 upon 2 minus 4, you will get the same answer. Okay, minus 4 upon minus 2 आ जाएगा, तो minus 4 upon minus 2 is still positive 2. करेक्ट, सो द आंसर विल बी सेम, जस्ट मेक श्योर कि x1 जो लिया है y1 भी उसी को लेना. ठीक है, सो दिस इज द फर्स्ट एंड द सेकंड पार्ट. प्लीज मेक अ नोट ऑफ दिस. आई विल गिव यू 10 to 20 seconds to write this down. Okay, all right, so I hope you have finished with this. The remaining questions, question number 3, 4, 5, 6 of question 2, they are all similar questions to this. Okay, all you have to do is use this formula, substitute the values, find out the slope. So please mark those questions as your homework. We won't be doing it here. Next, we'll go to question number 3. Okay, going on to the next page. Question number 3 is determine whether the following points are collinear. Okay, question number 3, determine whether the following points are collinear. Now remember, in the first exercise you had a question similar to this, but we solved that question using distance formula. Okay, and when we were solving it, then I told you that there is one more way we can solve such questions to find out whether the points are in a straight line or not. We can use the slope formula, and I recommend you to use this method because it is simpler. Okay, so use slope formula whenever you get a question like this, where you have to determine whether the given points are collinear or not. Now slope से हम लोग कैसे find out कर सकते हैं? If I find out the slope between any two pairs, ठीक है, 3 points दिया हुआ है यहाँ पे हर question में. If I find out the slope between any two pairs, if the answer is same, that means what? The points they are of the same line. Correct? सेम लाइन के ऊपर वो पॉइंट्स लाई करते हैं, इसीलिए स्लोप भी सेम आ रहा है. वी हैव स्टडीड इट इन वन ऑफ द प्रॉपर्टीज अर्लियर, राइट? तो ए बी का स्लोप मैं फाइंड आउट करूंगा सपोज फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन में, ठीक है, देन बी सी का भी स्लोप फाइंड आउट करूंगा, और आंसर अगर सेम आएगा देन वी कैन से दैट द पॉइंट्स लाई ऑन द सेम स्ट्रेट लाइन. ओके, लेट अस सॉल्व दिस. क्वेश्चन 3, फर्स्ट वन, point A is given -1, -1, point B is given 0, 1, and point C is given 1, 3. Okay, let us first find out the slope of A and B. Slope of segment AB. This will be equal to y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. Okay, slope point formula क्या है? Slope formula is y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. So 0, this is x2, -1, this is x1, this is y2, this is y1. So 1 minus minus 1 divided by 0 minus minus 1. Okay, remember there are two negatives. So what you are getting here is 1 plus 1 divided by 0 plus 1, that is 2 upon 1, which is nothing but 2. Okay, this was the slope of segment AB. Similarly, we will find out slope of segment BC. So this will still be equal to y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. This is just the formula. Okay, so substitute the values. 3 minus 1 y2 minus y1 divided by 1 minus 0. Now look here, we are getting the same answer, 2 upon 1, that is 2. Okay, this is the slope of segment BC. We can double check the answer once again by finding out the slope of A and C. Okay, let us do that also. So slope of segment AC will be equal to, you use the same formula, y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. Okay, so this time y2 is 3 and y1 is minus 1. So 3 minus minus 1 divided by 1 minus minus 1. Okay, so we are getting 3 minus minus plus 1 divided by 1 minus minus plus 1. 4 divided by 2. The answer is still the same, 2. Okay, इसका मतलब क्या हुआ, तीनों का स्लोप सेम आ रहा है. That means this is just one line, same line के ऊपर है तीनों points. That's why in this case the points are collinear. Okay, so finally we will write down, since the slope of AB, BC and AC, since the slopes of AB, BC and AC are equal, the points are collinear. Okay, so if the slopes are same, the points are collinear. As simple as that. Similarly, we will solve the next question. Before that, please make a note of this. I'll give you 30 seconds. Okay, let us go to the next question now. Question third ka second one. Second sub question, point D is given to you, -2 comma -3. Point E is given to you, 1 comma 0, and point F is given to you, 2 comma 1. Okay, these are the 3 points given to you. First, let us check for segment DE. Slope of segment DE, this will be equal to y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. Okay, so 0 minus minus 3 divided by 1 minus minus 2. Okay, this will be plus 3 divided by 3. 1 plus 2 will get, so 3. 3 upon 3 is 1. So the slope of this line is 1. Now let us check for segment EF. Slope of segment EF will be still equal to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Correct? So let us substitute the values. 1 minus 0 is y2. y2 minus y1. 1 minus 0 and 2 minus 1. Okay, so we are still getting 1 upon 1, that is 1. So the slope here is same for DE and EF. Let us cross check for D and F also. So slope of segment DF will be equal to same formula, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Okay, so 1 minus minus 3 y2 minus y1 divided by 2 minus minus 2. Okay, So we'll get 1 plus 3 divided by 2 plus 2, 4 upon 4, which is 1. So still the slope is same. That means these points are collinear as well. Okay, so points D, E and F are also collinear since the slopes are same. Since the slopes of segments DE, EF and DF are same, points D, E and F are collinear. Okay, so same solution, slopes are same, points are collinear. I'll wait for you to finish this. I'll give you 30 seconds, then we'll move on to the next question. Okay, now let us go to the next question. Question 3, third one. Okay, same question but still we are solving. The remaining 3 I will leave it up to you to solve. Okay, so 4th, 5th and 6th please mark as your homework. Question 3, third one will be the last sub question that I'll be solving in this question. So this is L 2, 5, M 3, 3 and N, that is 5, 1. Okay, 5, 1. These are the 3 points given to you. Let us find out the slope of line segment LM. y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1 equal to 3 minus 5 divided by 3 minus 2. Okay, so we will get minus 2 divided by 1. So the slope here is minus 2 for line segment LM. Okay, similarly we will find slope of segment MN. This will be equal to y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. Okay, so y2 here is 1 minus 3 divided by 5 minus 3. Okay, so 1 minus 3 is minus 2 and 5 minus 3 is plus 2. So here we are getting minus 1. Okay, that means the slopes are different. In this step itself, we can say that the lines, the points given to us in the question, they are not collinear because the slopes are different. Okay, since the slopes are not equal, points L, M and N are non-collinear. Okay, I hope you understood how we are going to solve such questions. So in the future, अगर practice set 5.1 में भी अगर ऐसा question पूछा है, तो you can still solve this question using slope formula. Okay, this is a better method than that. Okay, that is a little bit complicated. So I recommend you to use this method. Similarly, you can solve 4th, 5th and 6th. As I told you, they are your homework questions. Now, I'll give you 20 seconds to finish this and then we'll start with the next question, that is question number 4. Okay, so let us start with question 4 now. I'm going to the next page. Question number 4, if point A 1, minus 1, B 0, 4 and C minus 5, 3 are vertices of a triangle, then find the slope of each side. Now a very simple question, 3 vertices of a triangle are given. So you have to find the slopes of side AB, BC and AC. ठीक है. Question number 4. Point A is given to you 1, -1. Point B is given to you 0, 4 and point C is given to you -5, 3. Okay. So first let us find out slope of side AB. If you look at the triangle, it will look like this. This is point A, B and C. So we have to find the slopes of all three sides, correct? So let us first find the slope of AB. So slope of AB, side AB will be equal to 4 minus -1 upon 0 minus 1. Okay, y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. This time I'm writing it directly. Okay, so this is the slope of AB, 4 minus -1, 0 minus 1. This is y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. So 4 plus 1 divided by 0 minus 1. So we will get the answer as -5. Correct? 4 plus 1 is 5 and negative sign of the denominator will go in the numerator, will get -5. Similarly, slope of side BC will be equal to, so for B and C, y2 minus y1 will be 3 minus 4 divided by x2 minus x1 will be -5 minus 0. Okay, so we will get -1 in the numerator upon -5 in the denominator. Minus minus, it will become positive. So the slope is 1 upon 5. This is the slope for side BC. And finally, the last side, slope of side AC will be equal to, see, for A and C, y2 minus y1 is 3 minus -1 divided by x2 minus x1 is -5 minus 1. Okay, so you are getting 3 plus 1 divided by -6. Okay, if you add them, you will get -6. So 4 upon -6 is what you are getting. If you cancel this, this is 2 2s are 4, 2 3s are 6. So -2 upon 3 is the slope of the third side of the triangle. Okay, so these are the individual slopes of all the three sides. This is what you had to do. You had to find this in the question. So please make a note of this. I'll wait for 20 seconds. Please finish this fast, then we'll go on to the next question. Okay, moving on to the next question. Question number 5. Show that A, B, C and D are the vertices of a parallelogram. So there are 4 vertices given to you. Point A, B, C and D. चारों अलग-अलग दिया हुआ है. We have to prove that they are vertices of a parallelogram. Now remember, you had a question like this in the first practice set of this chapter, but we used the distance formula at that time. हम लोगों ने क्या किया था? अगर parallelogram है तो opposite distances same आना चाहिए. ओके, वो लॉजिक यूज करके हम लोगों ने सॉल्व किया था. बट हियर वी कैन डू इट मोर सिंपली. ओके, रिमेंबर हम लोगों ने एक प्रॉपर्टी स्टडी किया था इस एक्सरसाइज के पहले कि इफ द लाइंस आर पैरेलल टू ईच अदर, दैट मीन्स द स्लोप ऑफ दोज टू लाइंस इज गोइंग टू बी इक्वल. ओके, अगर लाइंस पैरेलल है तो स्लोप्स इक्वल होना चाहिए. तो यहां पे अगर हम लोग ये प्रूव कर दे कि जो साइड्स हम लोगों को मिलेगा इस पैरेललोग्राम या इस क्वाड्रिलैटरल के लिए, उसमें से 2 pairs of sides के slopes equal आ रहे हैं, then we can say it is a parallelogram. Okay, because slopes are equal, the lines are parallel. So let us do that. Question number 5. Okay, there are 4 vertices given to you. Point A, -4, -7. Let us say this is the point. This is point B, -1, 2. Okay, suppose this is point C. Now this is just a rough diagram. I'm not saying first only कि ये parallelogram है. Point C, 8, 5. Okay, and this is point D, 5, -4. Okay, So if we have to prove that this is a parallelogram, मतलब क्या, AB and DC इन दोनों का स्लोप सेम आना चाहिए, क्योंकि ये पैरेलल होना चाहिए ना, then only slopes will be same, and AD and BC का भी स्लोप सेम आना चाहिए if they are parallel, करेक्ट. तो पैरेललोग्राम में अगर ऑपोजिट साइड्स पैरेलल है तो स्लोप्स भी सेम होना चाहिए. सो फर्स्ट वी विल फाइंड आउट स्लोप ऑफ AB. What is slope of AB? So y2 minus y1, 2 minus minus 7 upon x2 minus x1, minus 1 minus minus 4. Okay, so this will be equal to 2 minus minus 7 will become 2 plus 7, so 9 divided by minus 1 plus 4, that is 3. 3 3s are 9. This is the slope of AB. Okay, similarly we will find the slope of next, the opposite side to this can be CD. So CD का slope पहले find out करते हैं. Slope of CD will be equal to, okay, y2 minus y1 will be 5 minus minus 4 and x2 minus x1 will be 8 minus 5. So still you are getting 5 plus 4, that is 9 divided by 8 minus 5, that is 3. So इसका भी slope 3 आया. इसका मतलब इतना तो प्रूव हो गया कि AB इज पैरेलल टू CD. ओके, क्योंकि दोनों का स्लोप सेम है. अभी इन दोनों के लिए चेक करते हैं, AD एंड BC. ओके, स्लोप ऑफ AD will be equal to, now for A and D, y2 minus y1 will be minus 4 minus minus 7 minus 4 minus minus 7 divided by x2 minus x1 will be 5 minus minus 4. 5 minus minus 4. Okay, so this will be equal to minus 4 plus 7, that is 3, divided by 5 plus 4, that is 9, that is 1 upon 3. Okay, तो AD का स्लोप क्या आया, 1 upon 3. अभी BC का स्लोप भी सेम आना चाहिए. ठीक है, then only we can say it is a parallelogram. So let us check. Slope of BC will be equal to y2 minus y1, that is 5 minus 2, divided by x2 minus x1, that is 8 minus minus 1. 8 minus minus 1. Okay, so here we are getting 5 minus 2, that is 3, divided by 8 plus 1, that is 9. So 3 1s are, 3 3s are, that is 1 upon 3. Okay, इसका मीनिंग क्या हुआ, AB एंड CD दोनों का स्लोप सेम है, सो दे आर पैरेलल. AD एंड BC इन दोनों का भी स्लोप सेम है, सो दे आर पैरेलल. दैट मीन्स ABCD इज अ पैरेललोग्राम. सो फाइनली द स्टेटमेंट दैट वी विल राइट इज, सिंस स्लोप्स ऑफ ऑपोजिट साइड्स AB, CD and AD, BC are equal. Okay, since the slopes are opposite sides, AB, CD and AD, BC are equal. What this means is AB is parallel to CD and AD is parallel to BC. Therefore, ABCD is a parallelogram. Okay, this is the final statement. So we have proved that it is a parallelogram since slopes of opposite sides are equal. That means opposite sides are parallel. Okay, please make a note of this quickly. I'll give you 30 seconds. Then we'll start with the next question. Okay, moving on to the next question, that is question number 6. find k if r1 comma minus 1, s minus 2 comma k are the 2 points and the slope of line rs is minus 2. So slope question में दिया हुआ है, slope is given in the question and points भी दिया हुआ है, but one of the points जिसका y coordinate नहीं given है उसका y coordinate हम लोगों को find out करना है, ठीक है. So coordinates of r are 1 comma minus 1 and s is minus 2 comma k. So we have to find this k. Simple है, just use the slope formula. So slope equal to क्या होता है, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. But we already know the value of slope, that is minus 2. So I'll just write minus 2 instead of slope. This will be equal to y2 minus y1, k minus minus 1 divided by minus 2 minus 1. Correct? So इस पूरे equation में we just have to find the value of k. Therefore minus 2 equal to k plus 1 divided by minus 2 minus 1 will be minus 3. Okay, क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई माइनस 3 इंटू माइनस 2 दोनों नेगेटिव नंबर्स है, तो आंसर क्या आएगा मल्टीप्लीकेशन का, पॉजिटिव. 3 2 जा 6 will be equal to k plus 1. Take 1 on the other side, the value of k will be 6 minus 1. Therefore final answer k is equal to 5. Okay, so this was question number 6. Now finish writing this fast in 20 seconds, then we'll move on. Okay, so I hope you have finished writing this. Now there are just 2 more questions left in this exercise, but we don't have that much time to finish them in this session. We'll continue in the next session. Okay, so I hope you understood everything that we did today, and make sure you complete today's homework as well, and you keep revising what we have done in earlier chapters and all the other things that we have done in algebra also. So thank you everyone. We'll meet again in the next session.